Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today, a very special review. We're doing the Bridge-built BFJ roller hybrid J-cup. This is not just a J-cup, but also a roller J-cup that has an immobile portion to put the bar in. So obviously, J-cups are very important. Having a nice power rack is important, and as you continue your journey building your home gym, having nicer power racks, having nicer J-cups, really start to become the thing that you look for. So if that's you and you're looking for the absolute best J-cup that's on the market, I'm going to make a case for the BFJ from Bridge-built. To keep this review flowing easily, I'm going to be covering the design, the ease of use as well as the safety, the compatibility with different barbells. I'm going to compare it to a couple different models, and then of course at the very end, I'm going to give you guys my final take. But before we get on to cost or anything like that, let's just talk about the all-around construction of the BFJ, what it's made out of, and how high quality the materials are. So first up, let's cover just the bracket. Now the bracket is going to be the portion that attaches to and wraps around your upright in order to keep the J-cup securely mounted on the upright. This back bracket is made out of 3/8, and that is a single piece of material that is form-fitted over everything. The steel that's on either side of that HDPE is actually made out of 1/4-inch thick steel, which is very overbuilt. And then on the outside of that, we also have this 7-gauge outer layer, and that's the one that has the B cut out in it, which is classic Bridge-built branding. The center portion that falls between, this is where the bar is going to hit, as well as where it's going to rest when it's sitting in the J-cup. This is 2-inch thick wide precision milled HDPE, and it is very precision milled. So I went to try to remove this, and it fits very snugly, very beautifully. There's no gapping to worry about, nothing there that isn't less than perfect. Everywhere else that the upright would touch, so like the HDPE layer in here, this is all 1/4-inch HDPE, so everywhere the upright touches is HDPE, and then the roller itself is made out of acetal. All right, so I have been using these J-cups, and I had Patrick actually drive up to my house and drop these things off for me to review. And when he dropped them off over 140 days ago, I said I'd give them a shot, I'd put them through a little bit of use and abuse, and I've got to say that these things have come through with flying colors. Not only is there not a scratch on them, but these are the J-cups that I find myself going for on a daily basis. Some of the things that I was concerned about when he first dropped them off were the acetal rollers. Now the acetal rollers, acetal is a very high quality plastic. However, I was concerned just because of the size of the roller. I was concerned for a couple reasons. One, I was concerned that the roller itself was just too narrow, which we'll cover a little bit more in compatibility with barbell types. And then the other part is that I wasn't sure if it would last, if I was gonna break it or not. But it stood up to abuse really well. I'm definitely not gentle with this. I'm also not like overly abusive, like I'm not doing things I wouldn't normally do, but when I re-rack a bar, I'm not trying to gingerly set it back in, or when I roll it side to side, or there was a couple moments where like in this upright, I would have it in the roller side of the J-cup, and on the other upright, it would be on the flat portion, and I would just twist the bar, which is something I feel I would normally do and most consumers would normally do when that situation arose. And the acetal roller has held up just fine on both. They do show signs of wear from the knurling, but they've held up to abuse just fine. Now when it comes to safety and security, one of the things that these do come with is a 3/4-inch pin if you get a 1-inch or a 3/4-inch hole size, or a 5/8-inch pin if you order a 5/8. And when you slide this in through the back of the bracket, it just keeps the J-cup from being able to come out sideways. Now it is a 3/4-inch pin on this particular model. But I wouldn't get too concerned about it. There is a little bit of slop to it, but if I'm being 100% honest, I'm not even using these. They sit just fine. They really don't rock that far out of the way. I have had them kind of move a little bit, but nothing that's caused any issues in the gym. Now, another thing with the safety and security is going to be how well does it actually hold a barbell. What I can say is that when you first re-rack the barbell, the lip here is not overly pronounced, but it is pronounced enough to stop a barbell from accidentally coming off of the bar. Additionally, there's a very slight lip in between the roller and in between the flat portion of the J-cup. And what that does is it allows you to very easily keep the bar off the roller and on the flat, or in the roller and off the flat. I hope that makes sense. But basically, the whole point of having the roller and the flat portion is so that when you're going to set up on the bar, it's not moving side to side on you. But when it comes to the actual retention of the bar, I find that it is an ideal length. It's not overly pronounced, and because it's not overly pronounced or overly large, you're not running into any issues where maybe you would hit the J-cup on the upward portion of the lift and throwing off your lift. I've never had that happen. It's a very narrow package that everything is set inside of here, and I've never had any issues with the lip being too big, getting in the way, causing any issues with unracking, and also not being so small that it causes issues with bar retention. All right, so let's talk a little bit about adjustability. Now it's a J-cup, right? So adjustability is going to be quick. If you use the pin, pull the pin out. Rotate the J-cup up and out. Put it in the desired hole, drop it in place. And if you're into it, stick the pin back in the hole. Overall, it's a J-cup. It goes up and down the rack. It's very well designed. It's heavy duty. It also doesn't have all that much play. It does have a little bit, but nothing that's like outside of normal. I would actually argue that these have a tighter fit than a lot of the other J-cup models that I've reviewed in prior reviews. So before we get to comparisons, let's do just a really quick touch on compatibility. Now, I was a little bit concerned because the rollers that are on these J-cups, they're pretty narrow. To be exact, they're 1 1/4 inches long from the base of the J-cup to the end of the roller. So I was a little bit concerned with things like using 2-inch Cadillac bars, or using a 1.5-inch diameter camber bar, or using a 32mm squat bar, or maybe some of those larger bars. An axle bar is a really good example. But what I've actually found is that with the bar completely back here in the slope that's on the acetal roller, it actually retains the bar pretty well moving side to side, and there's been zero issues with any of the bars that I've used. One exception, and that's the Duffalo bar. And the only reason I had issues with the Duffalo bar is because it has that natural curve. I never tested it with my wedges, so if you watch this video up here a long time ago when I first got my Duffalo bar, I made some wedges, and the wedges basically angled the J-cups when they sat in the rack. It worked really well at the time, but now that I have the 1211 J-cups that have the Duffalo blocks in them, I haven't needed it. I didn't really try it on this because I didn't think that people with a Duffalo bar, I don't think they're looking for that roller capability, so I just didn't test it. But as for every other barbell type, if it was designed to fit into a rack, from my experience, if it's a 2-inch diameter or less, you're not going to have any issues using the roller mechanism and rolling it back over to get it to the flat portion. All right, so for the part you all have been waiting for, cost and comparisons. This, the Bridge-Built base model. So this is black on black. We're going to call it no hitch pins, even though I have the hitch pins. This is $399 starting price. And what you get with that is a very beefy pair of J-cups, and you can get those in 5/8, 3/4, or 1-inch pin size. Now for $30 more, you can get the hitch pins that I have, but I don't really use them. For $50 more, you can customize either the primary or secondary color, and there are 16 different colors that you get to choose from on the Bridge-Built website. For $100 more, you get to customize the primary and the secondary color, and of course 16 options per colorway. Now let's compare that to the other cups that are on the market. First up is going to be the Rogue Ghost collaboration. Really, it's just the Ghost design made by Rogue Fitness. The Rogue one has a price tag of $225, which is a lot lower than it used to be and is a lot lower than the BFJ, but of course you're only getting a roller or camber bar J-cup. It's very narrow, very small, and it doesn't really do what the BFJ does. And then of course there's the Irwin roller, which is $261, comes out of Canada and is available in different custom colorways for a premium price. But just like the Ghost one, it doesn't do everything that the BFJ does. There are of course other roller cup options from Titan Fitness, Fringe. I'm sure that there's a whole bunch of other ones that I'm forgetting out there. And now for my final thoughts. The BFJ is the beefiest, the biggest, the heaviest, the most heavy-duty J-cup I have personally ever held in my hands and seen. If you're looking for the best and you constantly get annoyed by that bar rolling back and forth as you're trying to get set up, this could be a really good option for you. It works on specialty bars, works on standard barbells. The only bar that it doesn't work on is a Buffalo style, like the Duffalo bar. Some of the things I really like about it are the 360-degree protection from the bar. That's one of the challenges in designing a J-cup, is that you want, no matter how the bar gets re-racked, that there's never a metal-on-metal contact. And that is where there's one difference between this version and the version that you guys will get. The version that you guys will get have a small cutout where the acetal roller goes, and that small cutout just takes away that little bit more possibility of contact between steel and the roller section. So basically steel from the barbell. Really, one of the biggest things I love about these J-cups is when I re-rack a bar, and I usually don't re-rack centered, I can just roll it to center and twist the bar back. It falls right into that flat portion and I'm ready for the next set. Bottom line is, I think that you're probably going to see a custom colorway for myself coming out of Bridgebuilt, because these are my daily driver J-cup. I just think that they're the best design. I love the addition of the roller and the flat portion. To me, it's a game-changing product. So that's been it for this review. This is another made in USA, designed in USA by a small company that I absolutely love. Bridgebuilt out of Cincinnati. Tell me what you guys think in the comments down below. Now remember, when it comes to building your gym, you should always put in a lot of effort. You should always try to make it better, awesome, and of course, badass. I'll catch you guys next time.